The alarm bells rang through the Galactic Council chambers on Kepler Prime. Ambassador Zixtar's crystalline body flashed red with worry as urgent messages flooded his communication device. Deep space monitoring stations across 3 star systems were reporting the same impossible thing. Something massive was coming toward them through space. "Show me the data again," Zixtar commanded his aide. The holographic display materialized above the council table, showing energy readings that made no sense. The object was traveling faster than anything they had ever recorded. It was also bigger than their largest space stations. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out in the command centers of the 3 major powers. The insectoid swarm collective buzzed with nervous energy as their queen received reports from scout ships. The energy-based ethereal union sent pulses of concern through their network as their sensors detected something that seemed to bend the laws of physics. None of them had ever seen anything like this before. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the human warship Defiance, watching the stars streak past the view screen. His ship was 50 kilometers long and packed with technology that would have seemed like magic to the aliens ahead of them. The crew of 8,000 humans worked calmly at their stations, preparing for humanity's first contact with galactic civilization. "How long until we reach the Kepler system, Commander Stone?" Morrison asked his tactical officer. Ryan Stone checked his instruments. 6 hours at current speed, sir. Should I slow us down as we approach?" Morrison nodded. "Begin. Deceleration in 4 hours. We don't want to scare them too badly." He turned to his communications officer. "Lieutenant Hayes, are you ready to try peaceful contact?" Ben Hayes looked up from his console. "Yes, sir. I've prepared greeting messages in 17 different formats. Dr. Sullivan helped me with the language protocols." Dr. Kate Sullivan, the ship's xenobiologist, smiled from her station. "The mathematical sequences should work as a universal greeting. Even if they don't understand our words, they'll recognize the patterns." Admiral Lisa Carter watched the proceedings from her command chair. She had spent years preparing for this moment. Earth's first contact with alien civilizations would set the tone for humanity's future in the galaxy. The Defiance was their calling card, showing that humans were not to be taken lightly. "Remember, everyone," Carter said to the bridge crew, "we're here to make friends, not enemies. But if they can't be friends, they need to understand that we're not easy targets." The ship's engines hummed with power that could move small moons. Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez monitored the systems from the engineering deck, making sure everything ran perfectly. The gravity drives that pushed their ship through space at impossible speeds were her responsibility. So were the defensive shields that could stop planet-killing weapons. In the medical bay, Dr. Sam Wright prepared for any possibility. First contact could go wrong in many ways. His medical equipment could handle human injuries, but he also studied alien biology in case they needed to help injured aliens. Marine Colonel Rick Turner checked his troops in the security section. 2,000 Marines stood ready if diplomacy failed. Their powered armor and energy weapons could handle most threats, but Turner hoped they wouldn't be needed. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, panic was setting in. The 3 major powers had maintained peace for thousands of years through careful balance. Each faction was roughly equal in strength, so none could dominate the others. This unknown force could upset everything. "We must prepare for war," declared General Vexmore of the Swarm Collective. His insect-like features twitched with aggression. "This could be an invasion force." "Perhaps we should try communication first," suggested Ethereal Prime Luxara. Her energy form flickered with uncertainty. "We don't know their intentions." Ambassador Zixtar's crystal body pulsed with worry. "Our sensors show weapon signatures, unlike anything in our databases. This ship could destroy entire fleets." The truth was that all 3 powers had grown comfortable over the centuries. Their technology had barely advanced in the last 1,000 years. Wars were fought with the same weapons their ancestors used. Space travel was slow and difficult. Most civilizations rarely left their home systems. The approaching human ship represented something they couldn't understand. It moved through space, like the laws of physics didn't apply to it. Its energy output was greater than most star systems, and it was clearly artificial, which meant some intelligence had built it. On the Defiance, the crew prepared for contact with professional calm. Intelligence Officer Nina Cross studied everything their sensors could detect about the alien civilizations. Ahead, the three major powers controlled hundreds of star systems and countless worlds. Their technology seemed primitive compared to human standards, but their numbers were vast. "Their communication networks are interesting," Cross reported to Captain Morrison. "They use quantum entanglement for instant messaging across their territories. Not bad for a pre-FTL civilization." Morrison raised an eyebrow. "Pre-FTL? They don't have faster-than-light travel?" "Apparently not, sir. Our approach has their entire early warning network in chaos. They've never seen anything move this fast through space." Dr. Sullivan looked thoughtful. "That explains their reaction. To them, we might as well be using magic." Weapons Officer Troy, Parker monitored his systems with quiet efficiency. The Defiance carried enough firepower to crack planets, but he hoped they'd never need to use it. His particle cannons and gravity bombs were designed to fight other human ships in Earth's civil wars. Against these aliens, they would be like using nuclear weapons against cavemen. As the hours passed, alien fleets began moving toward the Kepler system. The hegemony sent their crystal ships, each one a work of art that could fight for centuries. The swarm launched their bioships, living vessels that could repair themselves and think independently. The Ethereal Union deployed their energy constructs, ships made of pure force that could phase in and out of normal space. But none of them had weapons or shields that could match human technology. None of them had ever faced an enemy from outside their known galaxy, and none of them understood what they were about to encounter. Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen coordinated with the civilian departments aboard the Defiance. Cultural experts, linguists, and historians all worked to prepare for peaceful contact. Earth wanted this first meeting to go well. Captain Morrison stood at his command station as they approached the outer edge of the Kepler system. Around him, his crew worked with the quiet confidence that came from superior training and technology. They were ready for anything. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Hayes, "I'm detecting multiple fleet movements in the inner system. It looks like they're mobilizing for war." Morrison sighed. "Let's hope we can talk them out of it. All stations prepare for contact. This is where we find out if the galaxy is ready for humanity." The Defiance dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kepler system. The massive human warship cast shadows across nearby asteroids as it slowed to normal space velocities. 50 kilometers of advanced technology and human engineering hung in the void, waiting. On monitoring stations throughout the system, alien sensors went wild. The ship's passive energy output exceeded the power generation of entire worlds. Its hull gleamed with unknown metals that seemed to absorb and redirect energy. Weapon ports dotted its surface like the eyes of some ancient predator. Captain Morrison studied the tactical display as Commander Stone reported fleet positions. 3 major battle groups, sir. Crystal ships from the hegemony, biovessels from the swarm, and energy constructs from the Ethereal Union. They're maintaining distance but keeping weapons ready. Smart of them, Morrison replied. Lieutenant Hayes, open a channel on all frequencies. Let's try to talk before this gets ugly. Ben Hayes worked his communications board with practiced skill. The human greeting message went out in mathematical sequences, radio waves, quantum pulses, and even light patterns. Dr. Sullivan had designed it to be as non-threatening as possible while still showing intelligence. The response was silence. On the bridge of the hegemony flagship Crystal Dawn, Admiral Kextal watched the human vessel with growing fear. His crystalline form reflected the worried energy of his crew. The ship ahead of them was larger than anything in their databases. Its energy readings suggested technology centuries beyond their own. "Sir," reported his science officer, "the alien vessel is attempting communication. Should we respond?" Kextal hesitated. Protocol demanded that he report to the Galactic Council before making contact with unknown species. But protocol had never covered something like this. "Continue monitoring. Do not respond yet." Similar scenes played out on the Swarm bioship living weapon and the ethereal construct Void Dancer. Fear and caution ruled their reactions. They had grown comfortable in their corner of the galaxy, never imagining that something from outside, could arrive so suddenly. Dr. Kate Sullivan frowned at her xenobiology readings. Captain, I'm detecting massive fleet movements but no response to our greeting. They seem afraid to communicate. Morrison nodded grimly. Fear makes people do stupid things. Commander Stone, what's our defensive status? Ryan Stone checked his boards. All systems nominal, sir. Shields are online but not raised. Point defense systems are ready. If they attack, we'll know about it long before their weapons reach us. Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez monitored the ship's revolutionary systems from the engineering deck. The gravity drives that had brought them across the galaxy hummed with contained power. The quantum processors that managed their shields could react faster than any alien weapon system. Everything was working perfectly. In the Galactic Council chambers, emergency sessions were being held across multiple worlds. The three major powers tried to coordinate their response to this unprecedented situation. Video feeds from their fleets showed the human ship in all its terrible glory. It's not responding to our attempts at communication, reported Admiral Keckstall to the Council. The vessel maintains position, but shows no hostile intent. General Vexmore's insectoid features twitched with aggression. Perhaps it's studying us, learning our weaknesses before it attacks. Ethereal Prime Luxara's energy form flickered with uncertainty. Or perhaps it's waiting for us to make the first move. Its positioning suggests defensive rather than offensive posture. Ambassador Zixtar studied the tactical displays with growing dread. Whatever its intentions, this ship represents a technology level we cannot match. Look at these energy readings. A single vessel that outguns our combined fleets. On the Defiance, Captain Morrison tried several more communication attempts. Each one met with silence. Hours passed as human and alien forces watched each other across the void. The crew remained calm and professional, but tension was building. Sir, reported Intelligence Officer Nina Cross, I'm detecting increased chatter on their communication networks. Translation algorithms suggest they're arguing about whether to attack us. Morrison rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Admiral Carter, recommendations? Admiral Lisa Carter stood from her command chair. We need to show them we're not here to conquer, but we also need to demonstrate that attacking us would be a very bad idea. Agreed. Commander Stone, select a small asteroid. Nothing that could threaten inhabited worlds. Prepare a demonstration shot. Stone worked his tactical board with precision. Target selected, sir. Asteroid approximately 2 kilometers across, well away from any shipping lanes or inhabited areas. Morrison activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands, this is the captain. We're going to fire a warning shot to show these aliens what our weapons can do. This is not an attack. We're trying to prevent a war, not start one. In the medical bay, Dr. Sam Wright prepared for possible casualties. Marine Colonel Rick Turner readied his troops for any eventuality. Throughout the ship, 8,000 humans worked with calm efficiency. The demonstration shot came without fanfare. A single particle beam lanced out from the Defiance's main guns. The 2-kilometer asteroid simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris field. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, converted to energy and scattered atoms. The effect on the alien fleets was immediate. Combat formations broke apart as ships backed away from the human vessel. Emergency communications flooded all channels as admirals reported to their governments. Did you see that? Admiral Keckstall transmitted to the Council. The asteroid was completely destroyed, not shattered, not melted, destroyed at the molecular level. General Vexmore's bravado evaporated. Our intelligence estimates were wrong. This is not just advanced technology. This is beyond our understanding. Ethereal Prime Luxara sent pulses of fear through her network. If they can do that to an asteroid, what could they do to our worlds? On the Defiance, Lieutenant Hayes finally detected a response. Sir, we're receiving transmissions on multiple frequencies. They're trying to communicate. Dr. Sullivan worked quickly to decode the messages. They're using mathematical concepts to establish basic communication. I think they're trying to say they understand we're intelligent. Morrison smiled grimly. Progress. Hayes, respond with friendship protocols. Show them we want to talk, not fight. The next few hours saw halting communication between human and alien forces. Simple mathematical concepts gave way to basic language exchange. Dr. Sullivan's linguistic programs worked overtime to establish translation protocols. Weapons Officer Troy Parker kept his systems ready, but not targeting anything. His orders were clear. Defend the ship if attacked, but avoid escalating the situation. The demonstration shot had made their point. Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen coordinated with the civilian experts aboard the ship. Cultural specialists worked to understand alien social structures, while historians compared this situation to Earth's own first contact scenarios. Slowly, carefully, communication improved. The aliens began to understand that the humans wanted to talk. Fear remained, but curiosity started to grow stronger. Questions came about human intentions, technology, and origins. Captain Morrison answered honestly but carefully. Yes, humans had peaceful intentions. Yes, their technology was advanced. No, they were not here to conquer. They wanted to establish diplomatic relations with galactic civilization. The alien response was mixed. Relief that the humans claimed peaceful intent, wonder at their technological capabilities, and growing realization that everything in the galaxy was about to change. Admiral Carter watched the communications with satisfaction. "Well done, Captain. I think we've avoided a war." Morrison nodded, but his expression remained cautious. "For now, Admiral. But this is just the beginning. The real work starts when we try to build lasting peace." Outside, alien fleets maintained their distance but no longer showed immediate hostile intent. The first steps toward understanding had been taken, but both sides knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. 3 days of careful communication had passed when everything went wrong. Admiral Kextal received orders from the Hegemony High Command that chilled his crystalline form. The decision had been made at the highest levels of government. The human ship was too dangerous to be allowed to exist. "All units, prepare for attack," Kextal transmitted to his fleet. "We strike in 1 hour." The Crystal Dawn led 47 Hegemony warships toward the Defiance. Each vessel was a masterwork of alien engineering, built to fight wars that lasted centuries. Their crystal hulls could repair themselves, and their energy weapons had crushed rebellions across dozens of star systems. On the Defiance, Lieutenant Hayes detected the incoming fleet formation. "Sir, the Hegemony ships are moving toward us in attack formation. They've stopped responding to our communications." Captain Morrison studied the tactical display with grim disappointment. He had hoped for better from galactic civilization. "Commander." "Stone, what's their weapons range?" Ryan Stone worked his boards quickly. "Their energy weapons have effective range of about 50,000 kilometers, sir. They'll be in firing position in 20 minutes. "Recommendations, Admiral?" Morrison asked. Admiral Lisa Carter stood beside his command chair. "We've tried diplomacy, Jake. They're making the choice to fight. Show them why that's a mistake, but try not to kill anyone." Morrison nodded to his weapons officer. "Parker, prepare all defensive systems. Do not raise shields yet. Let them fire first, then show them what human technology can do." Troy Parker's hands moved across his weapon, controls with practiced ease. The Defiance carried enough firepower to sterilize planets, but his orders were clear. Demonstrate superiority without unnecessary killing. Dr. Kate Sullivan watched the approaching fleet with sadness. "Captain, I'm reading fear signals from their biosignatures. They're terrified but attacking anyway. This feels like a desperate move." "Fear makes people stupid," Morrison replied. "Let's hope they learn before too many of them die." In the medical bay, Dr. Sam Wright prepared for casualties. Marine Colonel Rick Turner positioned his troops to repel boarders, though the aliens showed no capability for boarding actions. Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez monitored the ship's systems, ready for combat operations. The Hegemony fleet opened, fire at maximum range. 47 ships unleashed everything they had at the human vessel. Energy beams, plasma bolts, and crystal projectiles filled space around the Defiance. The barrage was impressive by galactic standards. None of it touched the human ship. The Defiance sat motionless in space as alien weapons struck its hull. The advanced armor plating absorbed the energy without even warming up. Kinetic projectiles bounced off like raindrops. The aliens' most powerful weapons had no effect whatsoever. On the Crystal Dawn, Admiral Kextal watched in growing horror as his fleet's attack failed completely. Increase power to weapons. Target their engine sections. Sir, we're already at maximum power, his weapons officer reported. Our beams are having no effect. The same scene played out across the Hegemony fleet. 47 ships firing continuously at a target that seemed immune to everything they could throw at it. Fear turned to panic as admirals realized their weapons were useless. Captain Morrison let the barrage continue for 5 minutes before responding. He wanted the aliens to understand completely that their attack had failed. Then he gave the order that would reshape galactic warfare forever. Parker, target the nearest moon. Single shot, minimum power. Troy Parker selected a small, uninhabited moon orbiting a gas giant. His targeting computer locked onto the satellite, which was roughly 800 kilometers in diameter. The Defiance's main cannon charged with a barely audible hum. The particle beam that lanced out from the human warship lasted less than a second. The moon simply vanished. 800 kilometers of rock and metal converted to energy and scattered atoms in an instant. Where there had been a celestial body, now there was empty space. The effect on the alien fleet was immediate and total. Every ship stopped firing at once. Emergency communications flooded all channels as admirals tried to process what they had just witnessed. They destroyed a moon, Admiral Kextal whispered to his crew. A single shot. They destroyed an entire moon. Across the galaxy, monitoring stations recorded the event. The energy discharge had been visible from multiple star systems. Every major power suddenly understood what they were facing. General Vexmore's insectoid features trembled as he received the reports. Impossible. No weapon can generate that much power. Ethereal Prime Luxara sent waves of shock through her network. The energy readings are confirmed. One ship, one shot, complete planetary destruction. Ambassador Zixtar's crystalline body flashed through terror colors as he tried to comprehend the implications. They could destroy our worlds as easily as that moon. All of our worlds. On the Defiance, the crew watched as the alien fleet began to surrender. Ships powered down weapons and broadcast submission signals on all frequencies. The demonstration had achieved its purpose. Sir? Reported Lieutenant Hayes. We're receiving surrender transmissions from all Hegemony vessels. They're requesting permission to withdraw. Morrison looked to Admiral Carter, who nodded approval. Grant them safe passage, Lieutenant, and send a message to all alien forces in the system. We are not here as conquerors. We want peace, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. Dr. Sullivan monitored alien communication networks as news of the encounter spread. Captain, this is going out on all their channels. Every civilization in the galaxy will know about this within hours. Intelligence Officer Nina Cross studied the data feeds with interest. The psychological impact is significant, sir. They've never encountered technology this advanced. To them, we might as well be gods. Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen coordinated, with cultural specialists to draft proper diplomatic responses. Sir, we need to be careful how we handle this. Too much fear could destabilize their entire civilization. Commander Stone kept watching his sensors as alien fleets throughout the system began repositioning. All hostile formations are withdrawing, Captain. They're maintaining respectful distances but no longer showing aggressive postures. The surrender of the Hegemony fleet marked a turning point in galactic history. For the first time in thousands of years, the three major powers faced something they could not fight. The balance of power that had maintained galactic stability was broken forever. Weapons Officer Troy Parker secured his systems, but remained ready for further action. Sir, should I prepare for counterattack from the other powers? Morrison shook his head. I don't think they're that stupid. Word of what happened here will reach them soon enough. They'll want to talk, not fight. He was right. Within hours, formal diplomatic requests began arriving from all three galactic powers, the Swarm Collective, the Ethereal Union, and even the humbled Hegemony all wanted to establish communication with the humans. Dr. Sam Wright treated minor injuries among the crew, mostly stress-related issues from the tense situation. Marine Colonel Rick Turner stood down his troops but maintained readiness protocols. Chief Engineer Rodriguez continued monitoring the ship's systems as they prepared for extended diplomatic operations. Admiral Carter reviewed the after-action reports with satisfaction. Clean demonstration of superiority without unnecessary casualties. Well done, Captain. Morrison looked out at the stars, thinking about the responsibility that had just fallen on humanity's shoulders. The easy part is over, Admiral. Now we have to figure out how to use this power responsibly. The news of humanity's arrival continued spreading across the galaxy. Ancient civilizations that had remained hidden for millennia began stirring with curiosity. The three major powers started reassessing everything they thought they knew about technology and warfare. And on the Defiance, 8,000 humans prepared to reshape galactic civilization through the simple application of superior technology and human values. The galaxy would never be the same again. Captain Morrison stood on his bridge, looking out at a universe that had suddenly become much smaller and much more fragile. The real work was just beginning. News of the human demonstration spread across the galaxy at light speed. On 1,000 worlds, alien civilizations watched recordings of the moon's destruction with awe and terror. The simple truth was undeniable. Humanity possessed technology beyond anything they had imagined possible. Captain Morrison found himself thrust into the role of galactic diplomat as representatives from dozens of species requested meetings. The Defiance became a neutral meeting ground where ancient enemies could sit at the same table for the first time in centuries. Diplomatic attaché. Greg Palmer had his work cut out for him. A former ambassador to Earth's colony worlds, he now faced the challenge of establishing humanity's place in galactic politics. His first priority was convincing the major powers that humans had no intention of conquest. Captain, Palmer reported after his third day of meetings, the hegemony is offering complete submission. They want to become a human protectorate. Morrison shook his head firmly. Absolutely not. We're not here to build an empire. Tell them we want mutual cooperation, not subjugation. The response confused the alien diplomats. In their experience, superior military power always led to domination. The concept of voluntary restraint was foreign to galactic politics. Dr. Julia Brooks worked with alien scientists to share human knowledge carefully. Her team introduced concepts that revolutionized their understanding of physics, medicine, and engineering. But they were careful not to share weapons technology or anything that could destabilize existing governments. Look at this. Dr. Brooks showed Captain Morrison a holographic display. Their medical science is centuries behind ours, but their mathematical understanding is incredible. We could learn from each other. The first breakthrough came when human doctors cured a plague that had been ravaging swarm worlds for 50 years. Dr. Sam Wright's medical team worked around the clock to synthesize treatments that worked with alien biology. The gratitude from the Swarm Collective was immediate and overwhelming. General Vexmore himself came aboard the Defiance to thank the humans personally. His insectoid features showed emotions that his species rarely displayed to outsiders. Your people have saved millions of swarm lives, Vexmore told Captain Morrison. How can we repay such kindness? Morrison smiled warmly. Help us build peace in this galaxy. That's all the payment we need. Similar scenes played out as human technology solved problems that had plagued galactic civilization for millennia. Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez shared basic fusion technology that doubled energy production on primitive worlds. Her careful guidance helped alien engineers understand concepts they had never imagined. Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen coordinated humanitarian missions throughout local space. Human medical ships began regular runs to worlds suffering from disease or natural disasters. The sight of human vessels arriving with aid instead of conquest changed how the galaxy viewed Earth's children. The most dramatic change came when humanity ended the 1,000-year war between the hegemony and the Swarm Collective. The conflict had its roots in ancient territorial disputes and religious differences. Both sides had forgotten what they were originally fighting about. Commander Ryan Stone worked with alien military leaders to establish ceasefire zones. His tactical expertise helped design monitoring systems that both sides could trust. 4. The first time in a millennium, hegemony and swarm ships operated in the same space without shooting at each other. It's remarkable, Ambassador Zixtar told Morrison during peace negotiations. Our peoples have been enemies for so long, we forgot we could be anything else. The breakthrough came when humans introduced a revolutionary concept, shared colonial worlds. Instead of fighting over planets, the former enemies could settle them together. Human terraforming technology made previously uninhabitable worlds into gardens that could support multiple species. Intelligence Officer Nina Cross documented the changes sweeping across galactic civilization. Captain, we're seeing technological advancement rates that normally take centuries happening in months. Our presence is accelerating their entire development curve. But the most surprising development was the emergence of ancient civilizations that had remained hidden for thousands of years. Species that had retreated from galactic politics during previous wars began making contact with humanity. The first were the architects, a machine intelligence that had been building megastructures in empty space for millions of years. Their massive ring worlds and artificial stars were marvels of engineering that impressed even human scientists. We have watched your kind with interest, the architect representative told Morrison. Your balance of power and restraint is unusual. We wish to learn from you. Next came the gardeners, energy beings who had spent eons cultivating life on barren worlds. They had created many of the galaxy's habitable planets but had never revealed themselves to the species that lived there. Your people show wisdom beyond their years, the gardener ambassador said. Perhaps it is time for the old guardians to step forward again. Even more ancient were the Watchers, crystalline entities that existed partially outside normal space. They had observed galactic civilization since its beginning, but had never interfered. Humanity's arrival changed their policy of non-intervention. Weapons. Officer Troy Parker found his role changing from warrior to protector. Pirates and raiders who had preyed on peaceful worlds for centuries suddenly found themselves facing human patrol ships. The Defiance's mere presence in a system was enough to deter most criminal activity. Sir, Parker reported to Morrison, pirate activity in this sector has dropped to almost zero. Word is spreading that humans protect peaceful shipping. The transformation of galactic civilization accelerated as human values spread through alien societies. Concepts like equal rights, democratic government, and peaceful conflict resolution took root on worlds that had never known such things. Dr. Kate Sullivan studied these social changes with fascination. Captain, we're witnessing the birth of a new galactic culture. These species are adapting human ideals to their own societies in remarkable ways. Trade routes that had been dangerous for centuries became safe highways as human ships patrolled them. The Defiance's advanced sensors could detect threats from light years away, and its speed meant help could arrive anywhere in the sector within hours. Marine Colonel Rick Turner found his troops becoming peacekeepers rather than warriors. Human. Marines helped settle disputes, protect civilian populations, and maintain order in refugee camps. Their advanced equipment and training made them ideal for these new roles. Never thought I'd be helping alien farmers negotiate water rights, Turner told Morrison with a grin, but it beats shooting people. The economic changes were just as dramatic as the social ones. Human manufacturing technology produced goods faster and cheaper than anything the galaxy had seen. But instead of destroying local economies, humans helped alien industries upgrade their capabilities. We're teaching them to fish instead of giving them fish, Greg Palmer explained to his diplomatic team. Long-term prosperity instead of short-term dependence. 6 months after first contact, the galaxy was transforming before everyone's eyes. Wars that had lasted centuries ended in peace treaties. Diseases that had killed billions were cured. Worlds that had been barren wastelands bloomed with life. Captain Morrison stood on his bridge watching a convoy of mixed alien and human ships heading toward a new colony world. Former enemies worked together to build something better than either could achieve alone. Admiral Carter was right, he told Commander Stone. We're not conquerors. We're gardeners, helping this galaxy grow into something beautiful. But even as he spoke, Morrison knew their greatest challenge lay ahead. Earth's government had decided to send the full human fleet to establish a permanent presence in galactic space. Soon, the Defiance would no longer be alone. The real test of humanity's principles was coming. Would they maintain their commitment to peace and cooperation when they had the power to rule the galaxy absolutely? Morrison believed they would, but the galaxy was about to find out for certain. The space around Kepler Prime filled with light as humanity's main fleet arrived. 1,000 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with the same advanced technology as the Defiance. Each vessel was a masterpiece of human engineering, carrying the hopes and dreams of Earth's children to the stars. Captain Morrison watched from his bridge as the massive fleet took position around the diplomatic station. Admiral Lisa Carter had returned, aboard the flagship Endeavour, a Titan-class vessel even larger than the Defiance. The show of force was intentional but peaceful, demonstrating humanity's true capabilities while maintaining their commitment to cooperation. Ambassador Dan Mitchell stepped onto the Defiance's bridge, carrying credentials from Earth's government to serve as humanity's first galactic diplomat. His weathered face showed the wisdom of decades spent negotiating between Earth's scattered colonies. "Captain Morrison," Mitchell said with a warm smile, "Earth sends its compliments. Your work here has exceeded all expectations." Morrison felt a mix of pride and relief. The past 6 months had tested every aspect of human character. They had proven that superior technology didn't have to mean tyranny, that strength could serve peace instead of conquest. The alien reaction to humanity's fleet was immediate and overwhelming. On 1,000 worlds, representatives watched the deployment with awe rather than fear. The humans had kept their word about peaceful intentions, and their arrival meant protection rather than domination. Admiral Carter addressed the galaxy from her flagship, her words broadcast on every communication network. "People of the galaxy, we come not as conquerors but as friends. Earth offers its protection to all peaceful worlds, and its cooperation to all civilized species." The response was unprecedented in galactic history. Within hours, over 300 species had requested membership in what they called the New Galactic Alliance. The old balance of power between 3 major factions was replaced by willing cooperation under human protection. Dr. Julia Brooks found herself leading the largest scientific exchange program in galactic history. Human researchers worked alongside alien scientists to solve problems that had seemed impossible before contact. Their combined knowledge was advancing civilization at an incredible pace. "Captain," she reported to Morrison excitedly, "the architect, engineers have shown us construction techniques that could revolutionize our space habitats, and we're helping them understand quantum mechanics they've never encountered." The transformation of galactic society accelerated with the arrival of the human fleet. Patrol ships spread throughout known space, bringing safety to regions that had known only chaos for centuries. Piracy became virtually extinct as criminals faced the prospect of human intervention. Diplomatic attaché Greg Palmer worked with Ambassador Mitchell to establish formal treaties with dozens of governments. The agreements were based on mutual respect and shared benefit, rather than submission to human authority. "The Ethereal Union wants to share their consciousness transfer technology," Palmer reported. "In exchange, we help them establish physical colonies for the first time in their history." Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen coordinated relief efforts across multiple star systems. Human cargo ships delivered food, medicine, and technology to worlds suffering from natural disasters or economic collapse. The sight of human vessels arriving with aid had become a symbol of hope throughout the galaxy. The most remarkable change was in the ancient species that had emerged from hiding. The architects began sharing their megastructure technology, teaching humans to build artificial worlds and stellar engines. The gardeners worked with human terraformers to create garden worlds of impossible beauty. Even the mysterious Watchers became active participants in galactic affairs. Their ability to perceive events across multiple dimensions helped human strategists prevent conflicts before they started. Commander Ryan Stone found his tactical expertise in high demand as former enemies learned to work together. His peacekeeping protocols were adopted by dozens of species, creating a new model for interstellar law enforcement. "Sir," Stone reported to Morrison, "the Hegemony and Swarm are launching their first joint colony ship next week. 6 months ago, they were trying to kill each other. The economic transformation was equally dramatic. Human manufacturing technology had been carefully shared with alien industries, creating prosperity on worlds that had struggled with poverty for generations. But the humans were careful to strengthen local economies rather than replace them. Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez led teams of human and alien engineers in building the galaxy's first network of faster-than-light communication relays. The quantum entanglement stations would allow instant communication between any points in known space. "This will change everything," Rodriguez told Morrison as the first relay came online. "No more isolation, no more misunderstandings because of communication delays." Marine Colonel Rick Turner's troops had evolved into something unprecedented, an interstellar peacekeeping force that every civilized world welcomed. Human Marines helped settle disputes, protected refugees, and maintained order without imposing human law on alien societies. "We're not occupiers," Turner explained to his officers. "We're guardians. Our job is to protect these people's right to govern themselves." Dr. Sam Wright's medical technology had virtually eliminated disease on hundreds of worlds. Human doctors worked alongside alien healers to create new treatments that combined the best of multiple species' knowledge. Weapons. Officer Troy Parker found his weapon systems rarely needed for combat anymore. Instead, his targeting computers were used to guide construction projects and his particle beams were used to clear asteroids from shipping lanes. "Strange thing, sir," Parker told Morrison with a grin. "The most powerful weapons in the galaxy, and we use them to build things instead of destroy them." Intelligence Officer Nina Cross monitored galactic communication networks and was amazed by what she found. Crime rates were plummeting, scientific advancement was accelerating, and quality of life was improving on every world touched by human influence. "Captain, we're seeing cultural changes that normally take centuries happening in months. Art, music, literature, all flourishing as species share their traditions with each other." The formal establishment of the new Galactic Alliance took place 1 year after first contact. Representatives from over 500 species gathered at a massive space station built jointly by human and alien engineers. The ceremony was broadcast throughout known space. Ambassador Mitchell read the Alliance Charter, a document that enshrined the principles of peaceful cooperation, mutual respect, and shared prosperity. Every species would maintain their sovereignty, while working together for the common good. "Today," Mitchell announced to the galaxy, "we take the first step toward a future where all sentient beings can live in peace and prosperity, not under human rule, but under human protection." The vote to ratify the alliance was unanimous. Even species that had been enemies for millennia agreed that this new order offered hope for a better future. Captain Morrison stood on his bridge, watching the celebration broadcasts from across the galaxy. Fireworks lit the skies of 1,000 worlds as billions of beings celebrated the dawn of a new age. Admiral Carter joined him at the view screen. "You've done something remarkable here, Jake. You've given the galaxy hope." Morrison nodded thoughtfully. "We all did this together, Admiral. Humans, aliens, everyone who chose cooperation over conflict. The transformation of galactic civilization was complete. But Morrison knew it was also just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and challenges that would test the Alliance for generations to come. But for the first time in galactic history, those challenges would be met not by individual species struggling alone, but by a united community working together. The age of isolation and conflict was ending, replaced by an era of cooperation and shared discovery. As the celebrations continued across the galaxy, Captain Morrison allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had proven that superior technology could serve wisdom rather than conquest, that strength could protect rather than dominate. The galaxy had awakened to its potential, and the future stretched ahead bright with promise. The stars were no longer separated by fear and mistrust, but connected by bonds of friendship and hope. And at the center of it all, The human fleet stood ready to protect the peace they had helped create, guardians of a new galactic order built on the simple but powerful idea that all sentient beings deserve to live free from fear. The galaxy had found its protectors, and they had proven worthy of the trust placed in them.